What do you think about the mayoral election that just passed right here in Harris County?
Um, well, just because we were like pretty much immersed in it, I feel like I saw a lot of work being done, just to kind of get the word out about the elections and just to encourage people to exercise their right to democracy. But I think I don't really see how where that was represented, like, in terms of the media. If if that makes sense, like I just kind of feel like it was a lot more of the narrative. I saw a lot more of the narrative of just like, oh, people not participating or, just comparing it to um past elections, which I'm not saying that that's wrong. I just feel like um in terms of like where media go, I just feel like I would like to hear more of that, encouraging people to, get out as opposed to just, constantly like just harping on the fact that people don't, turn out
Yeah, I
and
get it.
amplifying the work that people do. That's a good one. I think more or less amplifying the work that people are doing to encourage, turnout. And I didn't see a lot of that being represented.
Yeah, this I ain't gonna lie, this mayoral election uh for 2023, it kind of made me nervous, just like looking at the candidates, like looking at the platforms, listening to them. And then when you're talking about like the participation, or the lack of, like when we in the community and we talking to people about the elections, like they'll tell you how elections don't matter. Like they just beat, it's like they don't have time. They either don't have time, they feel like it don't matter, or they'll tell you, what I'm saying, like the reason I don't vote is because, and these my words, it's like nobody paying attention to us. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody care about our needs. Nobody care, like the things that that we actually need in our communities in order to make it to the next level. Everything is about everything that ain't got nothing to do with me. And I'm sitting up here telling you, what's needed. And yet your platform screaming everything else is like you ain't even paying me no attention.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like like even with the encouragement, it could be tough. Like we out, we do what we do. We try to get people, to get out and go vote. But like, how do we do it? Like how do you get somebody to get out and go vote for the candidates? And I'm gonna keep it to the mayoral election, right? How do you get people to get out and vote for the candidates, somebody who's gonna represent the entire city, and yet, like some of the things that they're addressing, like for example, criminal justice or community safety, and everything they talking about as far as safety deals with incarcerating people that is forced to live in survival instead of creating safe spaces or safe communities or saving the kids and the elders or the neighborhoods by actually investing money into the things that people actually need to survive, so people wouldn't have to be forced to live in that survival mode, like putting, like ain't nobody like out of all the candidates talking about criminal justice reform. I didn't, I can't actually point at not one mayoral candidate that was talking about, like, instead of continuously infusing the system that prey on those that have not, but yet putting money into the things so people can have, so they don't have to do X, Y, and Z that's outside the law in order to eat or have housing or have money for an inhaler or insulin. It was tough for me.
Yeah, I mean, all of that is valid, definitely valid. And for me, just like, as a citizen and a spectator, of the elections, it just it to me, it just kind of seemed like that's one of the issues that people want to kind of skate around. Like nobody really want to acknowledge like that this is happening. Like, okay, we aren't, doing enough in these particular zip codes, or we aren't, providing enough resources. So that people don't have to live in survival mode. Like that's just one of the things I feel like that's something that everybody try to skate around, and if they get close enough to say it, they try to say it without saying it. And so I just kind of feel like nobody really want to be held to the fire for that. Everybody, keep wanting to just go to that main thing, like, oh, well, what we gonna do for the community is decrease crime. By, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what you gonna do for the community every
I
time.
can be
Like
everybody else.
every, that's just, oh, this is what the community is saying. Whose community? I mean, not just like we did canvas and we did polls. Our polls didn't line up with what we were seeing in the media.
I feel
And I know we talked to the
yeah,
people, the actual people who, who need, the resources. Our polls didn't line up with that. Our polls didn't say like people wanted, more law enforcement,
right.
but
I feel
that's what I'm seeing in the news.
it's like they, you know how they say, well, I don't vote because I'm not heard. I don't vote because ain't nobody paying attention to my voice. It's like I feel like the candidates, for the most part, is fighting over the same votes. It's like they fighting over the same votes, and the votes they fighting over is the ones that come with finances, money to put into the campaigns. And you know, like when it comes to people who may be poor that can't actually invest into the campaign, like these are the people that screaming for the resources instead of more money uh to be policing people who was looking for the resources, so people wouldn't have to. And since the people who screaming for safety in a way that don't look like more law enforcement, since they can't actually put the money into the campaigns, everybody is talking about, like the narrative is coming from uh a different group of people,
Right.
and it's like the people that need the most, and they need, like our liberation, it ain't free. Our liberation is gonna come through resources. But the people who need to be liberated, since the people want to represent the city of Houston, it's like, okay, well, I see y'all, I hear you. I might come over here, I might not. But the people I really want to entertain is all of the people over here with the money, and those people is the ones screaming law enforcement. I don't know. It's just
I
oh,
mean, as we know, like, I mean, it's just the a tale as old as time. Like, all money, not good money. Most of it come with the strings. We deal with it um in our industry.
who you vote for? Yeah, I know you
Well,
vote.
yeah, I don't really want to disclose that, but if we want to just talk about like candidates, I'll be honest that it was nobody that I really just felt that was on the ballot, that actually made it, or stayed in the race.
Right. Oh my God,
Let's
man.
say that. Let me just say that part that actually stayed in the race that I felt like was going to, get it, the city what they really needed in terms of not forgetting the folks that never have a seat at the table. Like we don't get pulled in, like the community voices and stuff. We don't get pulled in to after. after the people get into office, and now, we get the meetings and how can we work with you all, and this is, all that, the stuff that usually don't even end up amounting to anything at the end of the day. So
I mean, this, this entire race right here, I wish, like we could have just. I wish we had better candidates.
yeah,
Like we had good candidates. I wish, there were people that did not drop out the race, because I know for a fact that, we would have had a better chance of, like we would have had a better chance of resourcing people's needs if certain people would have stayed in race. We would have had a better chance of actually creating safe spaces for people who've been screaming community safety if, people would have just stayed and
yeah,
just,
yeah.
just
I
went.
mean, I think me personally, I mean, seeing how it ended up playing out, I just kind of think that it was definitely an entire demographic, because obviously it sounds like we both speak it to like that demographic of folks who was forced to just make a decision, where we screaming for like new blood, somebody who could, just to see. I mean, nobody's perfect, but I would have rather, you know, um, just seeing what somebody else was gonna do without already coming in, because you've been, saturated in politics for so long, without already coming in with all this stuff, you know, favors and all the, the politics
Mm-hmm.
behind it all. I would have loved to kind of have seen somebody else, just to see, maybe what somebody else that's kind of fresh would have done, or what type of approach they may have been willing to take, that wasn't leaning so far, on one end of the spectrum, because I think balance is good. I just think that we're not finding that. Nobody ever wants to go, over to the side where we lean the most, where we care about the most vulnerable, and
Right.
we want to see them with the things they need. I mean, we're not asking for a whole lot, but we understand a different, we just understand things in a different light, that we know it's a cause and effect of these crimes that they want to crack down on. And these individuals that's committing a crime, it's a cause and effect to everything, even the mental health. We could go there. People
Yeah.
being incarcerated who are actually sick because
Right.
they can't afford to get the medicines they need to battle their illness.
Right. And that's why, like, even with crime and all these candidates talking about addressing crime and criminality, and the only way that they want to address the crime is through law enforcement. But then I even question, like, what is crime? Because, like, even when I look at crime, I think I look at it different than most people. Like coming from where I come from, and I like to say, you'll hear me say all the time, like people doing things outside the law. I don't like to call it crime for the simple fact that I know where I come from and the spaces I come from, that's impoverished. Like most people, the things that they do that's outside the law is because they are actually, again, forced to live in survival. So
Yeah.
people not running around here like they say, but it's bad people. You got bad people out there. Yes, you got bad. You got people that is willing to go a little bit further to get what they want than others. Like some people, when you start thinking about like doing things outside the law, some people gonna try to be, as sneaky as they can and try to do things that they don't think. I mean, most people gonna try to do things that they won't get caught in, but some people, it's like they they do things, it might be like a hop in, a hop out real quick, like something. While other people, like, this is just like they live this way, but not because like this what I want to do. Is like James ain't running up and down the street snatching purses because he just want to be a purse thief. Like it's something that James don't have to the reason why he is stealing purses. You know, like when somebody out there selling drugs, they not just selling drugs because they want to. Now, when you young, you might be figuring out who you are. You might do certain things, but a lot of times, even when you doing certain things, figuring out who you are, when you look at the households where people come from, it's impoverished. Like the refrigerator, might be empty almost every day they wake up. The cabinets is empty. So they looking at their parents. Their parents ain't got nothing, struggling, trying to get something, working at McDonald's, yet the lights still keep getting cut off. And it's like, all right, my mama working at Taco Bell. My daddy, for some reason, can't get a job or keep going in and out because of the struggles. And since we struggling so hard, it's like, okay, we got to do something, because every time I'm sitting up here begging and asking people for the opportunity, to give me an economic opportunity, they say no. Not to mention, as this Black man, I'm sitting up here living with my woman because I can't even get a place of my own, let alone put my name on the lease, so it's like, all right, in order to actually live, I'm hustling. And people looking at me like I'm a monster, but no, I'm not a monster. It's just society is telling me everything that I can't do. And for me, it's like by any means necessary, I want to live. But why do anybody coming from any zip code with any shade, why must they be forced to have to do things outside the law in order to survive anyway? That's my problem. So as a mayor, if somebody want to actually be the mayor of the people in the city, instead of sitting up here trying to figure out every creative way you can incarcerate people that have no opportunities or very few opportunities, with too many people trying to get the same opportunity, or like no resources, it's like it seemed like somebody who want to represent the city would open the floodgates to the resources that people need in order to survive, instead of sitting up here looking at people like they better and incarcerating you, talking about you just did whatever kind of crime, calling it a crime, but it's not really a crime because the things that you did was survival. It's like when we kids and we can look at a kid that's doing certain things in school when we say that kid acting out because it's a cry out for help. It's the same thing as, when we looking at adults that's doing things outside the law, or doing things, where people looking at them as, using whatever label they want to use. But it's like, no, people are doing the things that they're doing because it's a cry out for help and they're trying to figure out how to get something they don't have. So why are we criminalizing them? Because the people that you should be, or we should be using the word criminal for, is the system, because the system and people who have the resources and got the access is making sure, or making a point to box people out that come from certain places or look like me and you, or your sons, or our people, or our kind, that come from particular impoverished communities, to say you cannot. And if you do, if you get creative, I'm going to throw you in jail. So please make sure we got enough money to put into law enforcement to make sure that those people stay in line, instead of putting more money into everything that we need, like addressing our food insecurities and building the grocery stores and the grocery deserts, and putting money into our housing and mental health, and giving us drug treatment programs, right in our neighborhoods. That's how you create a safe community, and not one mayoral candidate was on that message.
No. And I don't know. One thing that came to me this morning, and then it's interesting that, we are actually having this conversation now. I was literally, and it was so odd because I was literally driving and just thought about, the prison system. And I said, for that to supposedly be, created as a space for rehabilitation, I don't really see, I don't really see where the thought was put into, what they would need in that place. To me, it just really seemed like a breeding ground to perpetuate the cycle, so of course, recidivism is real, and it's just like so is that why? It's like every year everybody want to throw more money into law enforcement. Why? Because y'all know what's going on. Like, you already see the cycle, the price is going up, resources is going down. Oh, you anticipating a spike of crime. You're not doing nothing but wanting to prepare for it, wanting to build more prisons to prepare for situations that can be fixed in different ways, so it's just kind of like everything that's going on outside, everything that you talked about, I thought about it because as not everybody know, but I'm quite close with incarcerated individuals, and so I know what they go through, same stuff they go through on the streets. You throw them in there with they hungry because you're not giving them enough food that's feeding grown men. You're giving them food, in portions appropriate for a young adult, maybe. It's not satisfying mostly. And then you wonder why you hear them say, our older residents, they're scared. They have to be scared. They have to hope that they have somebody who gonna protect them. Why? Because somebody's gonna take from them. Because they don't have anything. They don't have family who helping them with extra food or snacks and commissary to make up for what they're not getting, from the system. So what they're taking. They still gotta eat. It's the same thing that they're doing on the streets. They're doing it in there. And then it's just like, where is the rehabilitation? It's the same people being put in a cold place where they've come from cold places that's lacking love, and compassion. And really, a lot of people out here in the world just want to know somebody care about them.
Right.
They just want to know you care, that they hungry. Shit. They want to care. They want to know somebody care. Like, I never had a hug in my life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? My mom chased dope more than she did a better life for the kids that she brought into this world. That was more important. I had to find my own way through the streets. I had to go to my homeboys just to feel, a sense of belonging. And then it's just like you throw them in a place with where nobody cares, the worst health care,
Right.
everything is just, geared towards truly not building a better person. Definitely, you know, breeding the environment to fester things that really needs to be fixed, or in different ways than, hoarding a lot of hurt people together, and in no ways for people to build up. Now, I'm not going to say like everybody, because we know, everything has happened under the sun. It take a lot for a person to come out of something like that. And I would say it's something supernatural, to come out of something like that and be able to be a different person. Everybody's not going to do it. The majority is not going to do it. That's why this whole thing is a racket, and it's it's a wealthy industry.
Right. We still cash cows. Expand
Exactly.
Expanding the system is like it don't make anything better. Like it makes everything worse. Expanding the system, build new jails, build more prisons. It give economic opportunities for, like, slavery still exists.
Yeah.
So it just look different. It give them more opportunities that the haves, and create a bigger space for the have-nots. It's like digging a deeper hole for people that's already coming from generational poverty and making the space bigger,
Mhm.
for generations to come. Like every time we expand law enforcement, expand jails, expand the courts and the DAs, build new prisons, it's like creating a whole like environment that makes it like it's a bigger environment that creates like legal racism and give people the right to like just be racist. Like it gives people the right to be biased towards you just because of, and it's like, and it's that class gap. And making that class gap just it's separating us as a people, wider and wider, the more we expand law enforcement.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And
Think
that's how I mean, like you said, that's what I view it as. I could be wrong, but that's literally my opinion. I don't see it because it's just kind of like we every year after year, we ask for the same things. Where is my IQ is not of a genius. So if I can see it, you know what I'm saying? And and we dealing with people who then went to Harvards and all these Ivy League schools, these big schools where you're on paper, you're the wisest. You're
hey,
one of the wisest ones, but yet we're operating on a remedial level like you don't understand, you do understand.
yeah, I think they taking advantage of opportunity because people know that we cannot jail and imprison our problems away. They know
So they know
that the
that.
only way to liberation is through access to resources and opportunities that people don't have. So if you want to liberate people and help people, in a positive way, you got to give them the stuff that they don't have. But yet we selfish and we think we better. So this is the way we operate. Let me ask you this. Do you think that we actually gonna get like some good things done when it comes to criminal justice reform under Mayor Whitmire?
No.
Well, I'm gonna hope that is there's gonna be something possible. I'm gonna hope that we are able to work with him to get something done for the community. But I do know one thing, and that one thing, people are most certainly depending on us.
Yeah, so, but to your point, I mean, you asked me a question, I just gave you the yes or no. I say no. And mainly because I can't, I just haven't seen it. I haven't seen it yet. And I don't even feel like the word reform was, have I heard it in the vocabulary of that campaign, of his campaign, period. Like I do not see that. Not and but we're gonna always do like what we do at year after year, no matter who get in office. We're gonna do the work. It's always gonna be work to be done. Um, but in terms of, like someone really willingly wanting to, work with community to address the needs, I personally don't really see it. We got this amazing campaign that is about to, the application is about to launch on the 12th, the Uplift guaranteed, funds pilot program for those that we constantly advocate for, which is amazing. That didn't come out of this, we just get started with this mayor. It didn't come from, Whitmire. And so I really want everybody to be clear, because this happens even with presidents, things are being in the works for years and then it start to come into fruition. We might have switched the president now. It's looking like, okay, oh, he's doing this great thing for us. No, it's just the way the chips fell. He came in as this wonderful program that hopefully is going to help, some residents in Harris County supplement, some income that they very much so need. So I'm hoping in this term of his that this won't be the only thing that we see tangible that touch the community where they can literally use it in their everyday life. Policies are great, Now we want to see some of that stuff as well, but you know, this is another reason why we can't really keep people engaged, or they're feeling like their voices aren't being heard, because we constantly beat the street down. We say the same thing every year, and you know, no goods are really coming to their door unless it's something catastrophic that happened, and then all this abundance of money, and even still they get shortchanged.
Yeah.
Even still, you know, so
You know, the whole campaign of Rise, reimagining safety for everybody. Um, like when you just start reimagining, it come with like rethinking, re-educating, and hopefully, you know, like I say, we can actually sit down with Meyer and talk to him about a lot of the things that people wish to see that will make their community safe from people who can't afford to actually put money into the campaigns or the re-election campaigns, because this is the first 4 years. And what I would hope to see is, you know, maybe Whitmire can actually reimagine what that safety would look like this election and going into the next election if you want to continue to do the job. Because right now, black and brown people, minorities, immigrants, like we have some real problems right now. And the problems that we have, you know, it comes from, you know, being in a space where people think that they can treat you any kind of way, or that you are expendable, or looking at you like you are some kind of monster and calling you criminals. And before we keep policing people that, you know, been demonized before we were born, it's like, let's figure out how we can love each other, work with each other, you know, and give people what they need so we don't have to hurt each other. So hopefully we can sit down with Whit Meyer, you know, and we can reimagine, you know, what safety looks like.
well, I mean, I'm hopeful. You always got to remain hopeful. But let's see. I mean, we all gonna see. We all gonna see what the next, you know, what is it? 4 4 years?
four
What the,
years,
huh?
4 years, 2 terms.
Okay. So yeah, we gonna see what this next you know, the 4 years bring, and definitely hope for the best. But I personally definitely feel very strongly we have our work cut out for us. Um I definitely don't see this as a win for criminal justice reform, especially, you know, organizations, people who, you know, champion that and just really want to spread love to um certain demographics in the form of resources. I mean, so we'll see. I'm just excited about this program. I said we gonna make sure we, you know, celebrate, and you know, all the small wins that we have. But yeah, this election was, it was a rough one. I
Yep.
will say that. It was a rough.
So we're gonna keep working with elected officials to decriminalize poverty.